Hello, chat. Good evening. Hope you guys are doing well. Welcome. It is Tuesday night. And here we go. I whisper about Vermont figures riding in half track. So funny, so funny. Well, anyways. Welcome to the show, everybody. This is going to be on here. Where are you? Oh, what did I miss something here? No, I guess I didn't. I just see a bunch of freaking tower building, just making sure I didn't miss anything. So anyways, guys, welcome to Tuesday night. Omega, how you doing, man? Hope you're doing well. Menendez is in the hospital. Like Bob Menendez, Senator Menendez. Well, that sucks. I also did hear that as we did, Ozzy Osbourne is no longer with us. And yeah, that sucks to hear, but the Prince of Darkness, he was only 76. For some reason, I thought he was so much older. I mean, he's only like 10 years older than my dad. And I'm like, that's crazy. But yes, since the beginning, I mean, when you go back and look, dude, he was hitting it from the start. So good for him. A life well lived, eating bats' heads and shit. I mean, you may not like Ozzy, you may disagree with him, but you can't also argue, man, he didn't fucking live a crazy life. Crazy life, yeah. And Willie Nelson has outlived them all. Yes, Chris Christopherson, all of them. Johnny Cash, yeah. Yep. Totally. Let's see here. Did somebody just say something? Did I start early for the two not skippable ads? Exactly. The grift never stops, chat. The grift. Oh, Eric Menendez. Ooh, that's gonna suck. So, grew up listening to him. I think a lot of people grew up listening to him. Really, at this point, I think most people have listened to him at some point. Yeah, Willie smoked forever too, so it'll be interesting there. So, guys, we are gonna get started on this. It's about time to go. Keith Richards will be here forever. Yes, he's not gonna die either. He's like Lennon's body that just keeps on being preserved. So, yeah. Kitchen Knife Rescue says, Sharon, where am I? Why is everything whiter than a Napolitane recipe? Oh yeah. So it'll be interesting to see that. Ringo's 80 something. Yeah, he's still alive. So yeah. It's yeah. So just it's interesting. It is interesting what they do's. So let's get started, guys. We started off, and where we left off at was the H3 lawsuit against Denims, Frogan, and Casey Tron. Now, guys, remember H3 is Ethan Klein's operation, and they dropped what was known as the content nuke on Hassan Piker, and that was just Ethan Klein just fucking laying into Hassan Piker. Remember Chank's nephew, Cenk Uyghur's nephew, who is the biggest terrorist ball licker in the world. I mean, if you happen to hate Israel and you got an AK, he has no problem licking your nutsack. As we saw repeatedly, we also seen that Twitch basically lets him do whatever the fuck he wants, and there's not a whole lot of consequence to that. So, as Ethan put that content nuke together, he noticed and knew that Denims and Frogan and Casey Tron, who are, hold on, oh, hey, Clyde, come here, Bubba. While you're here, buddy, come on. Kite up, hey, come on, hey, up here. Dingleberry, come on. There you go. Ah. He's like, I'm not looking, fat man. Anyways, we're going to have Clyde here with us to talk about it. So Frogan, Denims, and Caseytron are what are known as bread tubers. They're commies, and they're hoes. And more importantly, they're Hassan's hoes. And I think that's how they should be referred to, as Hassan's hoes or his hooers. Because they are. They're his hoes, doing his bidding. And they all streamed the content nuke as it premiered with the intent to deprive Ethan Klein of views and money and revenue. And they made a bunch of money and shit on their own streaming it, including, as we talked about before when we showed Ethan's video of cataloging what they did. You know, they get up and leave. And they intentionally did not react to things because they just wanted the space. Hi, Bubba. What you think, huh? You gonna woo? Huh? You gonna do a woo for everybody? Clydatron. Clyde would never do that. Clyde would never send for Hassan. But Clyde is here, though. Clyde is the best boy. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Yes, Hassan's thoughts. Anyway, they did that, and Ethan Klein sued them for copyright infringement. In addition to them, he sued a bunch of people in the H3 Snark subreddit. Now, there is a... Guys, if you know, and if you don't know the lore here, so Ethan Klein is obviously on the left. He started making inroads to reach out to people like Hassan and people on the far left, and, you know, it all backfired on him. Clyde, you're jumping around here, bubber. What's the dealio? Trying to explain to these people about a bunch of dirty fucking communists. Can I please now continue? Okay, thank you. So Ethan Klein was involved with Hassan. They had their show Leftovers, and then all the attacks in Israel from Hamas happened. And, you know, basically all the fucking tankies fucking acted like tankies towards Ethan Klein, who is Jewish. Amazing. The name Klein, you know, you wouldn't think he's from Italy, but he is from it. He is Jewish. And his wife Hila is from Israel and, you know, served in the IDF and, you know, whatever you want to talk about there, I'm not getting in the way of that one. And anyway, the tankies attacked Ethan and basically ran him off. And they then began a massive campaign of harassing and fucking with Ethan to the point where Children's Services were called on him, multiple things. No, they didn't find cocaine in the house or trash in the house, but Children's Services was called, a skull was sent to him, all kinds of shit, and they fucked with him. Well, Ethan is, and I told you guys this at the very beginning of the lawsuit. Play the clip. Which clip? Which clip are we talking about? You guys want me to play the clip? I don't know which clip. There's a bunch of clips. Yes, a skull was sent, but it was like you could buy the skull and send it to them. Oh, the clip of Hila and the ITF. No, we're not doing that. I don't know if that, like, technically there's a gun in it. I don't know if I'll get in trouble for that or not. I mean, YouTube is kind of doing that to me. Oh, the Hila clip. Yeah, I'm not doing that right now. Like I said, I'm worried about YouTube fucking me over on the clip. I know which clip now we're talking about. So anyway, as this all happens, I told you from the beginning, chat, this is about Ethan Klein collecting scalps. This is his reckoning because he's been fucked with and he's not going to take it anymore. Yeah, there's copyright infringement and all that, but this is his vendetta ride. He's fucking Wyatt Earp and he's coming after the McLowrys and the Clantons. He's coming after Curly Bill, Brocious also. He's coming after everybody. And I told you that. I told you that was going to happen. That's really all this is about. He wants to know these people who have fucked with him, fucked with his family, fucked with his company, that have just been complete pieces of shit. That's what this is all about at the end of the day. And I told you this was a fishing expedition because the other people that were listed in the lawsuit are the unnamed Reddit mods and some Discord users who are believed to engage in contributory copyright infringement. And we're now to the point of, well, what's going to happen in this case? And there's some updates in it. And basically, Denims just cut them loose. And if you guys recognize what clip that that knife on the rope is from, she just cut some fucking dead weight to save herself. She just cut some dead weight to save herself. She hung him out to dry. No, no, no. They were hanging off her on a rope, and she fucking cut the rope and just let these people free fall. Yeah, the hooks are set. I mean, these guys have stepped into a minefield, and Ethan's going to stand there and drink a Coke. So, what happened? Well, I think first of all, we need an update on what's actually going on for everybody. So, let's start off with where they are in their money situation. So, as of July 20th, a couple days ago, Frogan's lawsuit defense fund raised $34,981. Not a bad amount, not a bad amount. That's going to disappear pretty quick in federal court. Pretty good. Pretty good. You know, like I said, not bad. Not bad. You know, Denims has raised $39,000. Not bad. Not a, very respectable. Very respectable. And then surprisingly, I don't know how the fuck Casey Tron did this. How does this hoe have $43,000 raised? I get it. She was like a former porn star and everything. But how does she do that? How does she do that? How does she fucking do that? I don't know. But apparently she is. But yes, this is I don't know how that happened, but I guess good for them. I guess good on them. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how the hell she did that. So they are actually, yeah, like these communists have raised some money, which is hilarious. But yeah, they figured out they've raised, you know, about $100,000 total altogether. So this will be fun at the end of the day. As Ethan said, he wants money. He wants money, and they're going to use this. He's looking forward to collecting all that money. Now, what has happened? What has happened in the case? So there are some updates in the case. And this is where we're going to start talking about what has happened here, because there's case updates, and then the parties who are subject to these case updates are talking shit. And it's going to be very funny how this works out. So the first thing we're going to see is, and I'm only worried right now about what's going on in Denim's case. I'm not worried about Frogan, and I'm not worried about Casey Tron, because this fucks them both over too. This is tied to everything, because they were all the basically these are cookie cutter lawsuits. The Reddit mods and Discord users are in all three lawsuits. And Sean's Patrol saying, get Kirsty Flaw YouTube sued by Blake Lively for grift. I'll look for that. I'll look for that. I'll take a look at that, Schnauzer. Thank you. So anyways, here's what we have. There is a notice of appearance. Now, you guys see it says withdrawal to, but this is a notice of appearance. That's what we're worried about. So what happened here? Well, there's identifying information. So Frost LLP, a guy named Benjamin Cassis, is representing. He's going to be counsel of record for Alexandra Marwa Saber. I don't really fucking know. I don't care. You know, also known as Denims, which I don't understand. I'm named after jeans. I don't really fucking know. I don't know. So anyways, this is his first appearance in the case, listed above. And he's just saying, look, we're entering the case. We're throwing our hat into the ring. So Denims did something smart. She got an attorney. So I noticed down here, there's other parts that have not been done. And then the guy signed. So Denims has an attorney. And I agree with, Andrew, Legal Mindset. Denims really has a big incentive here to, like, this is how this works. They're all fucked. They are. We talked about this. It's all about who cooperates now. It's just like a murder investigation. It's just like dealing with the police. The first person that snitches, the first person that helps, they get the best deal. Maybe he lets her off scot-free. I don't know. But at this point, who knows what's going to happen, but she's getting a better deal than everybody else. She's getting a better deal than everybody else. And that's because she's cooperating. She's getting an attorney. It's in her best interest to do this. Frogan and Casey Tron, they're both tards. And I'm sure Ethan doesn't really want to give any, especially to Frogan, Frogan is up Hassan's ass the most. So it is going to be very, very, very interesting there. Ag says, hey, Chad, I'll be listening. My parents are here and we're packing everything up. Yay. Well, I guess, hi, Ag's parents. You're not going to, well, you might hear a lot of things you may agree with or not agree with. Sorry in advance. Don't bother none to. I was told there'd be socialist tears here. Oh, there will be. There's so much cope and commie tears here. Oh, it's getting good. It is getting good. So, what's happening? Well, first of all, her attorney asked for an extension of time to respond, which totally normal. Totally normal. Not a problem to do. Perfectly reasonable. Actual attorneys who aren't dickheads agree to reasonable extensions of time for continuances or to file things. And notice, Ethan's attorney agreed. Stipulation, meaning we both actually agree, Your Honor. We've talked amongst ourselves. We worked it out, which is how you're supposed to handle things as attorneys. In a case, you try to work it out. And if you can't work it out, you come to the judge and say, you work it out for us. But in the meantime, you always meet and confer, much to Russell Greer's chagrin. So the complaint was served on June 24th. The current response date was July 15th, and this was filed, the day before. And they want a new response date of August 14th. So they need 30 days. And remember, this is Denims versus Ethan Klein through TED Entertainment. And then also the Does 1 through 10, which are those random people on Discord and Reddit. So they just want more time, and they talk about how everything was served on everybody, and it's stipulated and agreed to, once again, by the parties who are professionals, that the defendant shall file a response to the complaint on or before August 14th, 2025. Remember, this can be, she could file a motion to dismiss instead, or she could file an answer. And I don't think in her situation, there is not an issue of subject matter jurisdiction. There's not a 12B6 of, failure to state a claim upon which relief can't be granted. No, I think she's going to have to answer at this point. So, what happens from here? So, by the 14th, she's going to have to provide an answer or something in response. She's got to do something. Okay, once again, pretty standard. Nothing new there. Nothing worry about that. Everett Scott says, what? Okay. EDW Raptor says for $5. To Ag's parents, I'm having a homosexual relationship with your son, and I'm sad that he's moving even farther away from me. Fair. But now we get into the tears part. This is the big deal now, guys. This is the big deal. The attorney's asking time for creative proposal for a deal. Probably. I mean, that also is 30 days to work on stuff. But ultimately, you gotta do some sort of answer or response. So they'll file an answer, but from there, there'll be negotiations this entire time. Denims is, if she's smart, and I'm assuming she is, she's in negotiation mode because you're seeing some things happening now that tell me she's negotiating and she's looking to cut a deal. And this is a big thing right here that she's looking to cut a deal. As I told you guys, this is about fishing, and Ethan Klein is going to be the best Jewish fisherman ever. I don't really think there's too many really, I know some of the apostles were fishermen, but they were fishing in the Sea of Galilee. I'm talking about Ethan Klein's he's out there doing some deadliest catch shit. He's hauling in some pots. Because let me tell you what, there's now a joint stipulation. To be fair, it's a stipulation is joint in its nature, but I'm not going to get in the way of that. I'm good. You know what? Good enough for who it's for. Joint stipulation regarding granting the plaintiff leave to serve third-party subpoenas prior to the Rule 26F conference. So now what's Rule 26 mean? Rule 26 is the rules of discovery for civil cases under the rules of civil procedure. So you have to sit down and have a conference. You sit down and talk to the party. The attorneys meet and confer, and they talk about what do they think is going to be involved, what's going to go on for discovery, can they set deadlines, what are they looking at, are you going to need experts, am I going to need experts, how much discovery, we're looking for this, we're going to be looking for that, oh God, we're going to have to pull out like magnetic storage tapes, how voluminous is discovery going to be, all these things that you try to work out beforehand. Are we going to need depositions? All the different things you might want to do in a case. You're supposed to do that at your 26F conference. And you're not supposed to do discovery and you don't request, there's no request for production. You're not supposed to serve subpoenas. You're not supposed to do any of that until the conference happens. And the conference isn't going to happen until after Denims does her answer. So this was filed last week, July 16th. And they're like, we're gonna skip ahead because even though Denims files an answer, okay, the 14th, it might be a couple of weeks till we get around to a 26F conference. So that's like 2 months out, maybe even longer. Ethan Klein has asked, hey, can I just go ahead and skip a couple of steps? And Denims has said, that's okay. That's okay. That's okay with her. So what is this turning into now? Well, they say, whereas, and this is what you do with stipulations, the plaintiff, TED Entertainment, commenced this action by filing the complaint alleging direct copyright infringement against Denims, and then contributory copyright infringement against those 1 through 10, the H3 Snark mods. Remember, there's a subreddit that was solely about fucking with Ethan Klein, and it's a dead Reddit now because they got scared like little bunny rabbits. If you go to the H3 Snark Reddit, it's fucking ghost town. It's a ghost town because they ran away like little bunny rabbits. They ran over to the leftovers Reddit. They have an H3 leftovers Reddit, and that's where they hang out. Or it's leftovers. I don't know. I don't fucking care. They're all commies. But they're all hiding out in another Reddit, the subreddit, or whatever the hell it is. And so they talk about on June 24th, Denims was served. We know that. June 30th, counsel contacted counsel for Denims contact counsel to discuss preliminary matters. Ethan's counsel responded and explained that their intention to file an ex parte application seeking expedited discovery to subpoena Reddit and Discord to obtain personal identifying information of the H3 Snark mods prior to the conference of counsel under the Rule 26 conference, as we talked about. And why? Well, because right now you just have does 1 through 10. You can't sue a John Doe because you don't know who the hell you're suing. Remember, you have to be able to sue somebody you can actually get your hands on. Well, guess what? If they start getting email addresses and information from Reddit and Discord, they can then find these people because they want to name the mods in the complaint and serve them with the complaint. Now, what happened? Well, there was a meet and confer on July 1st. On July 1st, they conducted a telephone meet and confer, which is totally fine. Happens all the time. You can meet and confer via telephone. You can meet and confer in real life. You know, you could do it. You know, we're dealing with streamers. It could be IRL, but telephone's perfectly fine. And counsel for Denims agreed that the request to seek expedited discovery is warranted under the circumstances. And it is. It ultimately is, because we're now getting to issues of joinder. These are necessary parties to the action. Because Ethan's alleging all of this, he needs to include these parties. They have to be included. You've got to do it all right now. You can't just sue, you know, it'd be a mess to sue Denims and Frogan and Caseytron independently and then try to go after the does. It would be a bit of a mess. It's far easier, and that's something you might say, well, what about Russell Gray on the farms? Russell Greer's a tard. And the farm's attorney initially didn't join Google as he should have. So that's why it has to happen here. Seller says if he can't unmask them, he's gonna. Ethan's got the money for people to use, like the people who like Ethan can hire. They're gonna use like real LexisNexis, like the one where it's like the database you could peer into someone's soul with. They will investigate and find these people, and you know what they'll do in the meantime? They'll put the screws to whoever they can get a hold of, and those people will suffer. And hopefully they snitch out other people. We'll get to all that. It's a very good question. But the expedited discovery is warranted. And to avoid unnecessary motion practice, the parties have entered this joint stipulation, because if they didn't and they had to motion practice, that eats up money for Denims, eats up out of her fund, but it also raises attorney's cost and attorney's fees when Ethan wins. Ultimately, she's going to win. And they said that they agreed to leave, to grant TEI leave to serve the subpoenas on the condition that the counsel for Denims first review the aforementioned subpoenas. And that's fair. Hey, whatever you're going to do, I want to see them first. They say due to a pre-planned 4th of July vacation, the earliest counsel could review the subpoenas was July 10th, 2025. On July 10th, counsel sent the proposed subpoenas, and we're going to go through those, to which counsel for Denims does not object. The true and honest documents are there. A true and correct one for Discord is in Exhibit B. So therefore, it's stipulated that they want this court, and the court doesn't have to grant the stipulation. Technically, the court doesn't have to. I don't think I've ever heard of that, because if the parties agree to something, that's one less thing the court has to do. But like, it's kind of like it's in their inherent authority. They could disregard a stipulation, but that'd be really, 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 really weird. So I don't think they would ever do it. And they say, but they want the court to grant the stipulation. They want that Ethan be granted leave to serve the subpoenas prior to the 26F conference, and they want the court to enter the order lodged concurrently herewith. And it's signed by both Ethan's attorney and Denims' attorney. If you're an H3 Snark mod, I'd be getting ready to shit a brick right now, because your emails, your contact information is going to get out. Ethan's going to get it. And Denims was right to not oppose it, because it's going to be granted. These guys were clearly, it looks like they were clearly involved. There's enough of a case that they have the right, and the court would grant them this right to serve the subpoenas, because it's very important. Now, if she had opposed it, well, it's not, it doesn't affect her. So the court's gonna be like, why are you getting in the way of this? It doesn't hurt your case anymore, unless they're gonna say, oh, Denims put us up to this, which I'm not sure. But once again, I do think, and I'm sure Ethan believes, that the H3 Snark mods and all these people were working together. Maybe not at Hassan's orders, but I'm sure that they were all working together. I'm sure Denims and Frogan and Casey Tron and probably other bread tubers have had contact with these people, because they're disposable foot troops, and they were too stupid to realize it. So what do we have? Well, we have these subpoenas. We have the proposed subpoenas here. So here's the subpoenas. You guys have never seen these before. This is what a subpoena form looks like. And this is a subpoena that you would get out of federal court. And notice it looks kind of standard. And that's because, other than changing the district court, these are pretty much default. This part's a default template. This part's a default template. So it's a subpoena to produce documents, information, or objects to permit inspection in premises in a civil action. So also, you could also argue this is like a subpoena duces tecum, meaning give us your documents. Because they don't need Reddit to come in and testify. They want documentation. They want papers. And they are commanding Reddit to produce at the time and date, meaning that you just have to provide it to the attorney. Like, you don't have to show up at the offices in Sacramento, California, but theoretically, that's the old traditional way of doing this. You would show up to that place, because this is a court order. This is a court order. The court is ordering you to do something. But you can just, what would happen is Reddit's attorneys are going to contact Ethan's attorneys, and they're going to work it out. Hey, can we, email it to you? Can we Dropbox it to you? What can we do to, transfer it over? So notice there's also other things. You can have an inspection of a premises as a thing right there. That's also happens. So, for example, in personal injury cases, you might want to inspect a premises. Depending on the other types of lawsuits you can file, you might want to inspect a premises. So what do they want to do here, though? Well, they are going forward, and this is the proof of service that'll get filled out once the subpoena is served. These are the rules and your information that's attached to the back of a subpoena, and these are all the things here. So they talk about how do you comply if you're protecting a person subject to a subpoena. It gives you some basic information. What happens when you're commanded to produce materials? How do you quash or modify a subpoena? It gives you some basic information here in the Federal Rules of Civil Procedure about how you can attack them because it notifies you of your rights, your duties in responding to a subpoena. They talk about, like, what are documents? What are about electronically stored documents? What happens if you only produce them in one form, if they're inaccessible? If you're trying to claim privilege, what is contempt in this situation and what happens? So this is how a subpoena works. You're given your rights and you're being told to know what's going on out there. Yeah, Robin Hood says, oof, they're fucked. Yeah, they are. They are. This is not going to go well. This is not going to go well for them. Because here's how that works. So attachment to the subpoena. And because you can't, obviously, guys, look at this. You can't fit all this crap up top, right? So you're told, here's the material, and you see an attachment. Now, this is a very common thing here. Definitions for a subpoena. Because if you just say, give me documents, well, Reddit might say, I don't know what you mean. I want account information. Reddit could say, what do you mean by that? What do you mean by this? What do you mean? And it's up to Ethan to explain what he wants. So account information shall have the same meaning as used in Reddit's data collection webpage. Which this is how you get around that because they already have definitions. So this is how you nail Reddit down because that way Reddit can't go, well, we don't know what you mean. Well, no, you do because we're using your own policies. It includes things like your username, avatar, and email address. The term communications shall refer to every manner or means of disclosure, whether orally or by documents. And whether face-to-face or in person, by telephone, letter, facsimile, telex, that's a holdover from the old days. Telecopy, holdover from the old days. Or by any other process, electric, electronic, or otherwise. And it goes on, although there's not going to be any abstracts, digest records, or transcriptions of anything, but it literally covers everything, guys. Documents shall have the broadest meaning permitted by the Federal Rules of Civil Procedure. Now, notice, well, how does Reddit know? Reddit's going to have their attorneys go through this. And if they don't, that's their fault. You're expected to understand what this means and respond to it properly. And if you don't, well, that's on you. But attorneys know what this means. They're expected to know. All right. But look at all the crap they are responsible for. All this. And it's in the possession, control, custody, or control of Reddit, or to which Reddit otherwise has access. And any such documents bearing on any sheet, front or back, meaning that if they happen to accidentally print out something and anything at all we want, front or back, if it's in a margin, if there's a note referring, like if there's a Reddit memo that went around and somebody wrote something, H3 Snark mods are fucking killing us. If it's in the margins, that's discovery. If it's an attachment or an enclosure thereof, any mark that is not part of the original text is to be considered and produced as a separate document. And they say the term H3 Snark shall mean the subreddit. The H3 Snark mod shall refer to the Reddit users. And then with the identifying, it means when used with a person shall be their full name, business or residential address, and telephone number. Maybe they have them. With respect to a document, it shall mean the identity, the author, signer, sender, address, and all recipients. Like, they're asking for everything, guys. And if they don't have it, the name and the address of any person is currently having custody or control over it, and any other information necessary to identify that document sufficiently in a subpoena duces tecum or another request for production. So if you don't have it, who has it? How do I get a hold of them? And how do I explain it to them so they know what the fuck I'm looking for? Because it may be something else. You know, some company uses internal lingo for different things. How do I explain it to those people? But this goes on and on and on. Communications mean all communications. Location information. You know, if you decide to share your location with us, we collect that information from your mobile phone and your IP address. So guess what? If these H3 Snarks, the Snark mods, use their cell phone, which they probably did, undoubtedly did, we've got location data. And now that I've got an email address, which you can do a lot with an email address, you can get a full docs on somebody with an email address, chat, if you have the right tools. And Ethan's attorneys will have the right tools and the money to do that. They can then pair that with location data and an IP address. Oh, yeah, buddy. Oh, buddy. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Yeah. Yeah. This is not going to be good for them. They're not going to be able to hide. They're not going to be able to hide, chat. Not going to be able to hide here. The term moderators shall have the same term meaning as Reddit's own definition of what's a moderator. Well, there's a lot of things we might call a moderator. Anybody who's a Reddit moderator, pedophile. But there are a lot of Reddit moderators, but we know who they are. They talk about persons of persons. A lot of this isn't necessarily for Reddit, but you serve a boilerplate subpoena with everything in it so you don't miss anything. And then you add in the stuff that's specific, okay? But they want the personal identifying information, account information, location information, transactional information, and usage information. The term Reddit's data collection webpage shall mean the webpage there. So they talk about it. The transactional information shall have the same meaning as Reddit's data collection. Your billing information. Remember, you can buy memberships on Reddit. Uh-oh. SpaghettiOs. Your address, your payment type, your credit card. Ooh. Ooh, that's silver tier Reddit membership. Oh, that was really a monkey's paw, chat. Ooh. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. This is bum, bum, bum. And your purchase details. So we'll find out how much you fucking losers have paid for Reddit. Usage information. Data about how you access the Reddit, your login and IP information, your browser type, your operating system, your device and search terms. We're going to get it all. Ethan's getting it all. Like I told you, this is a reckoning. He is coming to kill you. Maybe not in real life, but in the digital world, he is coming to kill you. He is going to come after you like the IDF has leveled fucking Gaza. Like, let me put it in terms you tankies understand. Let me put it in terms you tankies understand. This is not good. Actually, I'll put it in better terms. You know who the Mensheviks are? Ethan's the Bolsheviks. That's what's going to happen to you. You are done. But here's the thing, guys. This is how you have to handle things as an attorney. You talk about the conjunctives and and or. The terms any, all, and each. You know, the use of the singular form shall include the plural and vice versa. Masculine forms of pronouns shall embrace and be read to include the feminine or neuter, as the context may make appropriate. You have to be specific. And it's not because it's Reddit, but it's because any attorney would say, what do you mean by that? I guess we can't fill your order. We can't comply. Ha, ha, ha. Now, you might say, well, that sounds like what Reddit would do. It would, but that's what I would do as an attorney. I'm not going to fucking comply with it if it's not properly done. That's your fault. That's your fault. Neuter means neutral. So like they, them, their, that's what they mean. They mean like gender neutral terms. Not like using zim, zir, and zur. So now the instructions, like I said, we're going to kind of breeze through this here. The instructions, they're asking, they shall quote each subpoena document and information. They talk about here that if there's an objection, they must state the request with specificity for objecting to the request, including the reasons. Reddit must specify whether any responsive materials are being withheld on the basis of an objection. So you can't just say, Ethan wanted all the purchase information. Well, we're not giving it. No, you can say, we object. We have it, but we are also objecting to the release of it. And this is a big thing here, chat. General boilerplate or conclusory objections are not proper and are going to be disregarded. That is a very common thing. People will try to make boilerplate objections, and the court deems those as waived, meaning you didn't really make them. Your objection is not valid. So it's a serious thing. It's a serious this is not the time to fuck around. Okay? If the request is objected to only in part, and you can partially object, the objection must specify which part, and then permit inspection or produce the remainder of the request. If the objection is to the form for producing stored information, or if no form is specified, the request must state the forms or forms to be produced. Meaning, you can't just say, well, you didn't tell us how to do it. And you can say, you didn't ask for it. Well, I can't do that. I can provide paper. That's sometimes how that works. The documents or stored information must be produced as they are kept in the usual course of business, or must be organized and labeled to correspond to the categories in the request. And that's meant so you can't just go, here's a dump truck full of paper, because that's what you could do way back in the day. You would literally just take a truck full of paper and shove it out the door at the attorney's office and say, here's all our discovery, you dig through it. You're not allowed to do that anymore. Now, I could give you like 100 banker's boxes, but I've got to label them. I might be a little vague in labeling to make it hard on you, but there has to be a labeling system. There has to be like a table of contents. You can't just dump a pile of papers. There's got to be some organizational requirements. If the request doesn't specify a form of electronically stored information, you must produce it in a form which is ordinarily maintained or is in a reasonable use. If you're claiming privilege, immunity, or other protections, if you're asserting that, Reddit shall furnish the following information for each claim. You got to talk about the nature of the privilege: attorney-client, work product. There's not really much else they could argue. They could argue like maybe trade secrets, like our API, our codes. Who knows? If the privilege is being asserted in connection with the defense governed by state law, indicate the state's privilege rule being invoked. Although in this case, we're not dealing with state law claims. It's all federal. It's a copyright lawsuit, so they're really not going to be able to do that. It's federal rules only here, chat. Federal rules only. So I know people brought up before, well, is there anti-slap? Anti-slap does not work here. Anti-slap does not exist. That's like using monopoly money at Caesar's Palace or the Bellagio. It doesn't work. You can't use it. But you have to talk about if the privilege is being asserted for a particular communication. You describe the communication, the date, and the identity of persons without limitation, and their name, address, employment, and titles. You have to identify the communication, when it occurred, the location it occurred, and a summary of the communication subject matter. You have to, and you guys say, well, wait, I'm privileging it. Well, you don't have to explicitly state everything out, but you have to say what's going on. So that's the issue here. Discovery is this is not a fucking joke, chat. Hold on one second. Chat, give me 1 second. I have to take care of something real quick for 2.0. So give me 1 second here, guys. About 20 seconds. I'll be right back. So sorry. All right, chat. Sorry, we're back. Had to help 2.0 out. And we love our future Mrs. Martin 2.0. So let's keep going. Wow, a bunch of people left. I'm like, I was only gone for 20 seconds. They're like, I don't know, maybe a minute, but it's like, Jesus. But anyways, guys, when you have this, if the privilege is being asserted for a document, you have to describe the document, the date, everything on it. You know, the identity of it, a summary of the subject matter. It doesn't have to be super long, but you have to tell them anyway. So we can just go through all this. If you guys have never read these before, I think you guys should really, truly read this to appreciate how much you do in discovery. So now what are they doing here? Well, ultimately, and then the final thing is, if it's overly burdensome, you must state with specificity why producing the information is burdensome. Because Reddit might say, look, that's like all the data on our thing. It's just too much shit to put together. You have to tell us why. But what are they looking for? The subpoena documents. All communications documents containing the personal identifying information of Reddit user Ozempic dealer. And that's because Ethan Klein is accused of taking Ozempic to lose weight. Information number 2 request. They wanted the same thing for the user H3 Snark mod team. They want for H3 Snark mod team 2. For the Reddit user Roman P. For the user Right Salamander. For the user CavCav2. For H3 Snark mod team 3. For Wrong Salamander. For Right Salamander. Pure Press. User Pure Press. And user Kitchen Mukbang Star. User Sarah Horn Jewett. For user Jewett Sarah Horn. For user Jewett Horn Sarah. Which I'm sure that there is no, I'm sure that I really hope there is no Sarah Horn Jewett, who is such a fucking retard, that she made her goddamn name or her real name as a Reddit username. Holy shit. Holy shit. Oh. And then they also, all documents and communications containing the users of the H3 Snark mods, who are the moderators of H3 Snark from January 1st, 2025 through February 28th, 2025. Guys, because throughout January, Ethan had hinted he was dropping a content nuke, and then it was coming out. It came out the end of January, and then afterwards there was aftermath. They want all the information, then, of the Snark mods who were there from January 1st, 2025 through February 28th, 2025. So they want the information. They want all of that. And then the next one, guys, the next one is going to be for Discord. And we're not going to reread through it because this is literally the exact same thing again. But we're going to get to the Discord users because there was a Discord where all these fuckers were sitting there fucking with Ethan. And they talked about it. And Ethan's got screenshots. He's got all this archived. He just doesn't have names because you can't just do Ethan Klein sucks and sue that guy. But it's a Discord Incorporated. And we get down to the end. What are they looking for? What are they looking for here? Well, they want the subpoena documents and information. They want the identifying information and communications for Yogi Bear X, for Ali Turn, for Roz Whalen, NM. Is it Roz Whale or Roz Whalen M? I don't know. Sounds like somebody's real name, Rosalind Whalen, maybe. And then they want somebody with the username and handle no reception. They also want somebody with the name Frompu. Asking for everybody. Asking everything. Norster Sound saying, are they asking for identifying info and not the communications? They're asking for everything. They want all documents and communications containing the personal identifying information for the Discord people. But if we come back to the Reddit stuff, They want all documents and communications contain the usernames. Because if the usernames are in the communications, they're going to get those documents. So they're asking for everything. Everything is fair game. You know, this is where I think if you're the H3 mods, you need to learn the philosophy of the great sector, the great I don't know how you would this be? Would it be? I guess you could call it the progenitor of the sector. A gentleman named Ethan Ralph, as he told us, everything is fair game. And then also Safa. Those two philosophies you will need going forward. You will need going forward. My communists are out there. My tovarishes. You will need that. You will need that. Because it's all coming out. He's going to get your information. Reddit's, what are they going to object to? Somebody is suspected of being involved in copyright infringement. Reddit's going to have an obligation to comply. You know, you start objecting to things like this, and that's not going to look good, and the court's going to order it. The court is going to order it. Denims supports it. Denims did that to save her ass. So if you're an H3 Snark mod, or you were, whoa, she cut you loose, man. She cut you loose to save her ass. I mean, who's in trouble? Is it everyone? Everyone. Who, buddy? Who, Lord? And we're not even done yet, chat. We're not even done. We're not to the communists who are coping and sneeding yet. Because remember, this is something you need to understand. This is Denims. And in response to getting sued, this is what she put up on her fucking screen. This is what she put on her Twitter. Getting sued for copyright infringement, so it's time to slut it up. Because, yes, Denims is an OnlyFans hoe. So, yes, you guys are getting betrayed by a dumb whore. And notice she's got the part of the complaint with Heinrich Himmler and Adolf Hitler on it, which is like, brilliant fucking work, you stupid whore. That makes you look even worse. But, yes. But remember, Denims is a dumb whore. You know, I repeat myself. Yeah. So yeah, she's good job, Denims. And this is who you guys trusted. Oh, she won't betray us. She sold you out. But she's like, I better raise money. And yeah, this is like her being a whore. So yes. But it only gets better from here, chat, because wait, is that even a she? Yes. Oh. There are some hilarious things that have happened in, remember, because I told you the H3 Snark Reddit is a ghost town. But they still talked. They still have talked. And one of the people involved in this is Roman P. That person just got listed, right? Well, Roman P brought something up, and I guess this is really cringe, but I guess it makes sense. And also, chat, no, I don't have a Reddit account. Notice I don't have one. It's asking me if I want to continue with my email address. I don't have a Reddit account, so Safa here. But notice this. What is this person? What is this moron? Who's the Reddit mod say? Apparently, out of the 16 subpoenas, 9 are for me. Are Ethan's lawyers giving him good legal advice? Well, I guess how big of a fucking loser do you have to be that you are, I guess you're now admitting you are all these fucking Reddit accounts? Are you really going to admit that? I mean, just think about this. This guy is claiming I am all these people. I mean, how, like, that is such an own that if you really are all these people, you have like multiple Reddit sock accounts that you run around in. How much cringe? How cringe is that? Like that's even more embarrassing than anything else. Like okay, you're a Reddit mod. That's really fucking embarrassing. You're probably a pedophile. But on top of that, you have multiple Reddit mod accounts, so you probably modded yourself. You're the entire mod team for a fucking subreddit. There's 10 of you. Like, that is so fucking embarrassing. I don't know why you would say that and act like, haha, Ethan, I've got one over on you. How big of a fucking loser did you just admit to being? A pretty big fucking loser. I mean, really, a massive loser. On top of that, if these are all your mod accounts that you have, how many other Reddit accounts do you have that aren't modded? That is just so. You're so much a loser. You're so much a loser. So, God, I mean, like, you are the persona. Like, you're not supposed to live up to the stereotype on Reddit. You're not supposed to live up to the stereotype on Reddit. Sarah Marie says, you aren't allowed to call her a whore. I could do that here. Denims is a whore. Frogan, yes, Frogan's fat, but she's more of a retard and a whore still. They're all whores. And they're all dumb. We don't have those rules here on YouTube. So, the quiet part is loud. Yes, it's very loud. Yeah, Ethan knew they all had these socks. I know. He probably had a lot of information going on. How do you even keep track of all these? Yeah. I don't know, because these people are losers. There have been studies done and information has leaked out that a lot of these Reddit mods, like, this is their full-time job. They're that big a fucking group of losers. They're absolutely fucking retarded. But yes, that is the argument this person is bringing up. It's like, are Ethan's lawyers giving him good legal advice? I assume Ethan's lawyers are very good at what they do, Roman P. And, you know, I just sit here and I just think about, let's say Roman P walked into my office and wanted to retain me, and I started looking at this. I'd be like, you don't have enough money for me to want to represent you. And by the way, guys, if you're new, my name's Sean, potentially criminal. I am an attorney in the Cleveland, Ohio area, and we're kind of just going through this. We already went through the lawsuit itself, but now we're going through the discovery here. So yes, I are a lawyer as well. It's so fucking dumb. So dumb. And I love how this starts off with, I just want to preface this post by saying that everything here is my speculation or opinion or otherwise alleged. That's not how that works. You don't get to make admissions and then claim it's, it was my opinion. No, that's not how that works. And really, chat, when you get to this part, I am not a lawyer. You should have stopped there. You should have stopped there. You should have stopped there, brother. I have no facts beyond what are legally publicly available. I'm not making accusations. I am just a layperson. Once again, you should have stopped where you are with some questions regarding Ethan Klein's legal representation and their advice. So if you don't know, shut the fuck up. If you don't know, shut up. Yes, the licensed attorney. So, and the other thing I forgot to mention too is, because I'm sure Ethan probably believes this or has knowledge of it. If you guys were paid to help Denims and Frogan do stuff, or if money was switched around and people were paid to call SWAT Ethan or call CPS, Ethan's probably going to get the right to go through your bank records too. So not just your phone, not like your phone. Ethan's going to get a copy of your phone. Oh, buddy. Your email accounts. Everything. Your bank records. He's probably going to get the right to dig through those, man. Oh, Lord child. You guys just get ready for that. Just get ready for that. Yeah, their disabilities are going to get garnished, yes. I am an R lawyer. I will fucking eat a bullet. No. But here we go. Here we go. And yes, your phone is a tattle machine, and it's going to tattle. Nostra San is saying new phones are being purchased as we speak. You know what, though? If you destroy evidence, that leads to Ethan getting an adverse. Here's the deal. And that sounds like a great plan. Where's your old phone? Oh, I don't have it anymore. You knew you were going to get sued, right? You got rid of this, didn't you? Well, now Ethan can take you to court and say, there's an adverse inference that had I been able to get the information off this, it would have been detrimental to them and would have helped my case, and I probably would have won. And he'll get that instruction read to the jury. And the jury will be allowed to make an adverse inference against these people. So delete. And remember, guys, nothing's deleted forever. Nothing's deleted forever. Nothing's deleted forever. 534 people, guys. Please throw a like in there. I would appreciate it. Yeah, spoliation of evidence is very correct. It's a real thing. And Ethan's got attorneys who will sit there and dig through and fight for all this stuff. You're not going to walk away with it, guys. Totally unrelated, but have you seen this post? Oh, the guy's wanted in Malaysia. Is this real? Fucking cope. I've been thinking about the Ethan Klein and Ryan Kavanaugh lawsuits, guys. And Ryan Kavanaugh, it's when H3 and Triller, the fighting promotion, were there. We're gonna bring that up soon because it's an interesting lawsuit. Ethan Klein had to settle. He lost the appeal on that, and he had to apologize to Ryan as part of a settlement, it sounds like. But they say, remember all those episodes when Ethan would say something disparaging about Ryan and ended it with, in my opinion, or as reported by Variety, like when you talk about Ryan Kavanaugh's DUIs are allegedly involved in a Ponzi scheme. Well, they're saying, oh, Ethan had to apologize. Yeah, he's got an L. He took an L. You're about to take a bigger fucking L. And you don't just get to say, in my opinion. Like, I get it. You're trying to be a snarky Redditor, but you're fucking yourself now. So as a layperson, this raised questions to me. Was the legal advice Ethan got not good? I actually think it was pretty reasonable for him to see, whether or not it was. Ethan portrayed his case as unlosable. Yeah, well, I mean, if he didn't think so, he'd have been a fucking idiot for trying. Nobody tries a lawsuit thinking, oh, I might not win. No, you do it thinking you can win. And it says, so what happened? It sure says Ethan lost. He had to delete all the content and never disparage Ryan again. While it doesn't have anything, while Kavanaugh doesn't have to do anything, he's like, I know they settled, but that's a perception I got as a layperson. Well, so if you don't know, just admit you don't fucking know. I also saw Ethan Klein shouting, my lawyer can't do shit in relation to Reddit. So they lost the lawsuits and can't help Ethan with his Reddit problem. What have they actually achieved for Ethan in recent years? Well, yeah, this is different now. This is a different game we're playing. Your confidence, your hubris. Once again, your hubris. And this is where I like to go back to the book, chat. You should really read up on these. Just 10 of them. This is a great book. 10 Greek plays. There's some good ones in here. There's some really good ones. Especially your Redditor, you like to be the cultured man. You could read some, Agamemnon by Aeschylus. You can read Antigone by Sophocles. You can read Alcestis by Euripides. You can read Andromache by the Bacchae. You can read all these, and they'll be great for you. You can read the Lysistrata by Aristophanes. They're great. You learn about the word hubris. And learn why that's never a good thing to have. And why the fates love to come after people who display hubris. It'll be good for you. It'll be good for you. It's always important to study the classics, chat. It's always important to study the classics. It's never a bad idea. It's never a bad idea. It's never a bad idea. Now, what does he keep on talking about here? He says, which brings me to the current lawsuit and the request to subpoena my personal identifying information. This is part of Ethan's copyright lawsuit. Yep. And he alleges that the Snark moderators are co-conspirators as part of the plan. And his plan to use lawsuits to obtain information. Yeah. Although really this is about Ethan collecting scalps, and this is a means to an end, my white friend. And I'm assuming you're white. Ethan alleges in the lawsuits the moderators of H3 Snark heavily promoted the reaction, which he alleges broke his copyright. Here's the problem, though. In order for H3 Snark mods to aid and abet, she would first need to have committed actual copyright infringement. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. But that is what this case is about, and no copyright violation ruling has been made by the court yet. That's not how that works. Ethan's allowed to pursue all of you at once. And in fact, judicial efficiency, there might even be res judicata issues if he didn't. So, yeah, you guys are all acting in cahoots. He's allowed to attack you all at the same time. More importantly, you know, if you really thought that was a claim, go ahead and get a lawyer, reveal yourself, and show up and get your big dub against Ethan. But here's the funny part. Ethan's gonna win against Denims. Denims is fucked. Brogan's fucked. Casey Tron's fucked. After that, let's just say none of that's an issue. Ethan then's gonna pull his dick out of whichever one of them he skull fucks to death last. And then he's gonna come for you. And he's gonna fuck you to death. So, no, even if this happens the way you think it does, Le Reddit member, you're merely prolonging the inevitable. But you're wrong. It doesn't work that way. He says, additionally, when the mods promoted the stream before it aired, they could not have possibly known whether a future copyright violation might occur. What did you think was going to happen there? Like, you knew that was going to happen. This is an interesting comment. You're making an admission here. At this moment, what does Ethan need the personal information of the mods for? To serve you. To serve you. And this was from 5 days ago. So this is we're like, this is, you know, on what grounds should a judge allow him to file a subpoena? Seems to me like that won't happen. Both parties agreed. And to serve it on the parties, yes. I mean, there you go. There you go. So why would Ethan's lawyers take this route? Well, you're gonna have to turn it over. Because that or Reddit now becomes responsible for it. So they say Reddit will only disclose basic information to law enforcement in response to a subpoena, court order, or other valid legal process, or in response to an emergency disclosure request. Okay. I mean, it's not good. This isn't going to work for you here. Like, I think it will here, but okay. If you think it will. Another problem: Reddit only discloses basic subscriber information in response to a subpoena. All right, but Ethan's lawyer demands communication with Reddit's only disclosure in response to a search warrant. Yeah, well, we'll see how that works for Reddit because they probably gonna get held in contempt. So if Reddit were to give them the basic subscriber information, that could not be enough to amount to nothing. I mean, will they then have to file further petitions to the court for search warrants? Well, they don't get search warrants. So no, that's not how this is going to work. That's not how this is going to work. That's not how it's going to work. Yeah, Reddit's not going to fall on the sword for you guys. Maybe even file lawsuits against Reddit themselves, which they probably will. They have to. But that would likely be a long legal battle against a big corporation with lots of billable hours. So why would they want to do such a thing? Well, Reddit's going to have a problem if they're allowing people to use their website to promote copyright infringement. That opens up Reddit. So if Reddit wants to shield you, they're going to pay for that. And Reddit is not going to pay for that. So you have fun with that. You have fun with that. You have fun with that. Yeah, Reddit will probably try to quash some of it, but they'll provide discovery. They often do. Yep. They'll talk a lot of shit, but they're not going to back down. It's going to look really bad. Reddit is not going to do this. Anyways, Ethan might present as a big win, but it's just another nothing burger. This is only a petition asks a judge for permission, subpoena, and they're already celebrating. It's more than a petition. It's basically a stipulation, so the court's not going to get in the way of it. The court's not going to get in the way of it. Anyway, I have it on good authority that Ethan will not exactly get what he wants from Reddit. Are you implying that you're high up in Reddit? Are you implying you have access to Reddit leadership? How do you know? Who's your good authority? Are you conspiring with people actually in Reddit? I mean, this is the kind of stuff here where you could sabotage Reddit and fuck them over. Yeah, Reddit failed to quash the darknet markets discovery. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know how you think that works. How do you have that good authority? So, yeah, why would you give away that info? Once again, we're not dealing with the smartest people in the world. And I assume Ethan's attorneys are very savvy on this. And once again, guys, I'm not a fan of Ethan Klein going after these people. It's hilarious. I don't support Ethan's politics. But I thought his content nuke was like, mwah. It was brilliantly done. Brilliantly done. But yes, why would you do this? Why would you taunt them and say you have access to all kinds of insider info? Because guess what? That's yeah, brilliantly done. Brilliantly done. Yes, they think the large corporation will protect them for some reason. Just like they thought the dumb whore who whips her titties out on camera was going to protect them. Well, yes, Ethan's attorneys are very Jewish. They will come after him. Yes, do not tempt the fates, chat. That is the lesson here. Do not tempt the fates. So that happens. That happens. And then this came out yesterday. This is from Roman P again. And it says, Denims threw you under the bus. You are fucked now. No, she didn't. No, I'm not. Yes, she did. What do you consider this, brother? What do you consider this from Denims? What do you consider this? What do you consider this at this point? I get it that you don't think it's a win for Ethan, but what do you think it is for you? What do you think it is for you? Yeah. This is not. She doesn't whip out her tits on OnlyFans. I don't know. So she's not even a good whore. She's like she's titillating. She won't actually do it. So he says, keep supporting and donating. I'll try my best to explain. Okay, why? What do you think has happened here? All right, so now once again, the joint stipulation is asking the judge to grant them leave to serve the subpoenas. The judge will decide if the reasons are valid. It's a pretty valid one, and if the judge grants it, Ethan can send the subpoenas, and they will respond to him. So nothing really has happened. This is cope. This is fucking cope. This is a scared bunny rabbit running around right now. Oh, no. Well, you know what? We haven't gotten killed yet. The bomb hasn't dropped. The bomber's on the way. And they're at the initial point. They've opened up the bomb doors. They just haven't dropped it yet. So, yes, you aren't dead yet. But you will be soon. Denim's lawyers have not objected. This is where the whole she threw you under the bus is coming from. But that was the right decision. I will detail why in the following paragraph. So once again, I'm not a lawyer, but I'll tell you why it's right. So here's the issue. And he talks about, well, he wants to identify the Snark mods. Okay. The first element necessary to establish contributory infringement is knowledge of the infringing activity. That is, the defendant knew or should have known about the infringement. How could the Snark mods have known whether Denim's reaction would infringe on Ethan's copyright or not? Well, I mean, that's going to be an issue of fact. That's an issue of fact. That's an issue of fact. So guess what? We're going to have discovery. Oh, wow. Yay. You played yourself again, Mr. Reddit. Another Reddit tier moment, chat. Another Reddit tier moment. Yes. Yes. Well, how do we know? We're going to find out. We're going to find out. They linked to the stream before any reaction even occurred. Yes, that's why we're going to get your information and your communications to see what you did. We're going to get your text, your emails, your phone calls, your bank records to see what you guys actually did. Even after Denims ended her stream, every good faith actor would have to agree that a reaction which is twice the length of the nuke would not constitute an obvious copyright violation. She literally didn't talk for most of it, and then she talked afterwards. No, that's not legitimate reaction. More fucking cope. 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 So much cope. Cope by the log, chat. Just Copenhagen. And not only is it one of the Chris Ledoux's, the late great Chris Ledoux's great country songs, but it's what you're seeing here. So their claim fails at the first hurdle. That's an issue of fact. So guess what? We go to discovery still. So no, that's not how that works. I know that's not how that works. John Tubbs, I have to run, Sean. Waffle House drinks. Sure, brother. Yeah. So I don't know. Yeah, I don't know here. I don't know what they think this is going to do. Unless, of course, you believe the Snark mods were conspiring with Denims, who told them she would commit copyright infringement. Lol. I mean, yeah, that's kind of what it sounds like. And guess what? We're going to have discovery to find that out. Because guess what Denim's going to have to turn over? All her fucking discovery. And guess what? When they find it, they're going to fuck you to death with it. I hope you're going to get familiar with Ethan and his attorneys, circumcised cocks. You're probably a Hamas supporter or Palestine supporter. So get ready to get a lot of glimpses at Jewish dick soon. That's what's going to happen here. Another problem with contributory infringement is that it needs an underlying established copyright infringement. That's not correct. I mean, we already know that. Like, you don't need that. It's going to be part of it. There you go. You just have to know the infringing activity and you materially contribute to it. If you actually knew this, citation needed. What law are you? What ruling are you citing? Because they're contributory from the farms. We know contributory copyright infringement isn't a very commonly pled thing. It's actually very rare. And now there's an issue up at the Supreme Court coming up. It's so rare the Supreme Court took it. It's the Cox versus Sony case. So no, that's not clearly established, buddy. That's clearly not established. You can ask Kiwi Farms. Do you think Ag's parents are still listening? I don't know. Maybe they are. The one true statement he made was sarcastic, yes, but it's yeah. Oh, okay. Sarah Marie, thank you, Sarah, is saying, yeah. So they agreed to cover their own legal fees, and Ethan had to make that statement and mark the end of the Kavanaugh feud. Kavanaugh agreed to stop winding Ethan up too. Well, there you go. So yeah, it sounds like they resolved their shit because they realized it was two businessmen realized it was costing them money. Now, what happens? This is what the entire case is about. Like copyright infringement, there cannot be any contributory copyright infringement. Yeah, but they could find it all out at once. Like, you're not out of the woods here, buddy. You misunderstand. This is exactly why it's good for Denims to not object. It has nothing to do with her, and she could focus on her lawsuit and winning the case. She's not going to win. And take this also as the lawyers being competent and focusing on the matter at hand and not just racking up billable hours. No, her lawyers are probably like, what can we do to settle? What's your settle? I guarantee you her lawyers said, what's your settlement? I guarantee there's already settlement discussions. If you donate or GoFundMe, I'm sure you'd be happy to know your money is not getting burned fighting something that has no significance to her case and will lead to nothing. Where is this narrative coming from? Legal Mindset, who you know from his Rumble videos, such as the myth of St. Floyd debunked, or from his mention in the new Alex Novell video. Yes, the Hassan Ball Lickers have come after Legal Mindset. Or should I say legal dick sucker? Friend of the channel, Legal Mindset. I'm happy to say that. So all you Reddit mods out there, yeah, Legal Mindset, exactly, chat, exactly.
Legal Mindset, Legal Mindset. Legal dick sucker is more like it.
Yep. And what's, you know, and like you can hear him already. He's like reading. He's like, he's a chud. And notice this great thing with Mindset when they try to claim this conversation they have. The victim's voice has been modified to protect their identity. I'm totally sure it wasn't AI'd at all. The subpoenas have not been granted yet. And Reddit hasn't had a chance to respond, so is Mindset making a big deal. Because titling the video, Ethan Klein asked judge for permission to file a subpoena, won't get it as titillating as disloyal. Denim sacrifices Reddit and Discord mods. She did. She fucking cut you loose. You're cut adrift now, buddy. Denims ain't going to show you her titties. But yes, these hoes ain't loyal. Fucking, I give Mindset credit. That was I messaged him. That was a beautiful fucking thumbnail. Nothing has happened yet. Yes, we're not dead yet. Okay. He does this to push his agenda, sow division, and get people to stop supporting Denims, and it makes some YouTube revenue. Okay. Well, yes, the grift never stops, honey. That's true. That's true. He will continue this for every little thing that gets filed. Get ready for the Denim Snark mods are now 100% done. Followed by 150, 200%, 300% done now. No, you won't get that from me. It's just like, you guys are toast. This is it. This creates an environment where people on the H3 site will watch these videos for months and believe there's no way for Ethan to lose. They are echo chambering themselves. Echo chambering themselves? I mean, if we're talking about echo chambers, I mean, like, speaking of like echo chambers, like let's go to the H3 Snark Reddit. Like, it's all old stuff. 3 months ago, 3 months ago, 9 months ago, 3 months ago, 5 months ago, 5 months ago, 5 months ago. Oh, and this is something great. They were making fun of Ethan months and months ago in January. He says, I won't save you scumbags from what's coming. I can't wait for your family, friends at work and school to know what you've been up to. Yeah. I mean, yes, it would be embarrassing to be known as a fucking Reddit mod. But anyways, look, it's all, you know, you talk about this as a echo chamber, and you guys ran away from this one. You guys ran like scared little bunny rabbits. Like scared little bunny rabbits. Scared little bunny rabbits. Why'd you leave? It's like the song is, where'd you go? I missed you, ho. Oh, so nothing has happened yet. We're not dead yet. This, you know, the Legal Mindset also thinks there's a grand conspiracy, Hassan Piker instructing Snark mods that is going to be discovered with the subpoenas. I hate to disappoint you guys, but I have not been in contact with Hassan. You didn't deny not having any contact with anybody else, though. It sounds like you just admitted, well, remember, guys, it's not about what's being said. It's about what's not being said. He didn't deny having conversations and planning. He's like, we didn't plan with Hassan. That's basically what you just said. Hassan's not part of our conspiracy. Oops. Listen to these people. Listen to these people. I've not been in contact with Hassan, but you've been in this implies you've been in contact with other people. And you know what? I'm sure Hassan, even though he's a complete retard, is smart enough not to be involved. And he lets you guys fuck around on your own. That way he can deny you. Just like iDubbbz and Anissa. He's dead to them too. But if you guys are new, when you read statements from people, you always focus on what they don't say. It tells you so much about, it tells you so much more. And they might say, well, that's not what I meant. Well, what did you mean? We generally infer meaning from what people say. These people will disappoint when it turns out false and the case does not go the way they expect. Their conclusion will be an even deeper conspiracy. So, for an example, will not Reddit will give them what they want or hope to get from me. In their minds, the only conclusion is there'll be a conspiracy at Reddit. Well, you know what? At the end of the day, it probably won't matter because they're going to get all their shit from Denims. And I'm sure Denims has a fuck ton of information. So you have fun with that. You have fun with that. You have fun with that. Ethan's asking because he wants to get all the information possible. And if I was his attorneys too, I would be asking for every single bit of information. I want it from every source. Grab from here, grab from there, go everywhere. But I'm sure Denims part of this is going to be turn over all your shit. Denims has to surrender. She'll have to surrender her Reddit. She'll have to surrender. Who were you talking to? Were you in communication with these people? Who did how did this all work? Yep, Denims will sing, and then like Ethan will say, I'll cut you a deal. Give me access to everything. Once again, these guys are not thinking ahead. Ethan's trying to get all the information possible. And that has already started with Ethan's conspiracy that Reddit admins must be against him. There cannot be any other explanation. I mean, at this point, why would he not think so? Why would he not think so if they're going to shield you guys from sitting there doing copyright infringement? Now he says lessons from the Ryan Kavanaugh lawsuits, and we're going to get to the lawsuit there, chat in the court opinion on it, because it is actually interesting to read. Many of you were fans of the H3 show during Ethan's legal battle with Ryan, so you probably remember how smug and arrogant Ethan used to be with articles about Ryan in the background and finishing his sentences with, in my opinion, as reported by. Anyways, yeah, this is once again, he's kind of rehashing stuff. Or made an entire website dedicated to Ryan Kavanaugh. He was confident these things were not impacting his case. Yeah, and you know what? Ethan was probably wrong. He didn't help himself. They say that they claimed that Ryan's lawyers were incompetent. When he lost a judgment, he'd blame it on the judge being old and thereby not understanding the case properly. And when he lost appeals, he wouldn't talk about it. This created an environment where fans believed for years that Ethan's case was unlosable. So much so that one member wrote a super chat at the beginning of the show, which aired a couple of days ago, which they talked about how they just watched Ryan Kavanaugh's new movie. They voiced how much they disliked it and alluded to others to review bomb it. Bless their little heart, they had no idea what would come later in that very same episode. Ooh, it sounds like you're fucking around with Ethan. It sounds like you're the one fucking around with Ethan. Specifically pointing it out. Curious. Well, if that super chat's out there, maybe YouTube needs to get subpoenaed for their information. Yes. If I'm Ethan's attorneys, I'm looking at that too. So, just a little weird there. Just a little weird. Just something to think about. After his settlement, Ethan had to read a written apology to him on the show. He apologized for all the harassment he may have caused him and all the times he disparaged him. Ethan also had to go through countless episodes and remove any content. So don't be too scared about Ethan's confidence he displays. Oh, that's fine, but you're displaying the same level of hubris. Hubris is wrong, but we're good. Like, buddy. Well, this is different. We're different. You're doing the same thing. Well, no, we're not. It's like, I don't know, man. I think you're doing the exact same thing you're accusing Ethan of doing. You know, pulling a good old Ethan Ralph. Maybe it's you who suffers from hubris, is tempting the fates. Because I will say, this guy, for example, this Reddit itself is full of people pontificating that I think Ethan is going to be deemed a vexatious litigant in these cases. Absolutely fucking not. That is not going to happen here. And that's just an example of the cope and the delusion of this Reddit. He says his goal is obvious. He wants to use this lawsuit to dox the H3 Snark mods. At least you're smart enough to figure that out. He's coming after you. He wants to silence critics. No, he wants to come after people who fucked with him. And I am here for it. It's going to be hilarious. Don't let him. Well, you have done nothing wrong. Are you sure about that? You have no reason to let him intimidate you. Are you sure about that? Are you sure about that? I don't know, man. Final message from me again. Keep supporting Denims. You know, whatever you hear people say, please, please, please don't be concerned about me for a single second. You'll just have to trust me on this one. Why? Why don't we have to worry about you? Are you somebody important? Are you someone important now? Are you somebody important at this point? Who are you? Who are you? Sounds like you're telling us how important you are. They're already claiming I'm finished. If you don't think you're in trouble, man, you are. You don't understand the dangerous ground you tread upon. I mean, you're not in a fatal battle like Sun Tzu would write about, where like you've got no choice but to fight. But you were on very treacherous terrain, my friend. Trembling and don't even know what's coming next, but they are completely clueless. Save this screenshot as your wallpaper. Just remember this for when I am vindicated. I will have the last laugh. Y'all don't really know how hilarious this is until you're in it. Well, I think it's funny, though. You do this, and then you post this. Not everything needs a reaction. You just literally fucking did a big old wall of text. You just did a big old fucking wall of text. But not everything needs a reaction. True, the Reddit. Yes, I would say this. It's much like a Tombstone. When Kurt Russell looks at the guy, he's like, goddamn right you're scared. Like, I ain't scared. He's like, goddamn right you're scared. I can fucking see it. That was not somebody who was confident. That was not somebody who was confident. That was not someone who was confident at all. David Moore says, thank you for reading, Sean. Well, yeah. That's digital blackface. Hi, meme. That is not a man who's confident. That is a man who's terrified. Real quick, guys. So that is kind of it. Yeah, it's not looking good for them. It's not looking good for them at all. But we'll see what this turns into as we get more updates. But for right now, I mean, yeah, we're kind of hanging out here. So don't worry, it's going to get better. It's going to get more interesting. I totally think so. But yes, Denims did just cut these fuckers loose. And what better fitting fate for a Reddit mod than to suffer? Sad Collins says, PPP claims to have seen Denims nudes. It says they're extremely mid. Well, I mean, like, yeah, I'm sure it's like nothing special, but yeah. Hassan has not given a cent. From what I understand, that is correct. Blackadder 98 says Ethan is playing 4D chess and they're playing knots and crosses. I'm assuming that means shoots and ladders. I'm not sure. Must be a British thing. Okay. Don't bother none says I was told there'd be socialist tears here. Well, I hope you found them. We already did this one, EDW, but yes. Blackadder says it'd be nice if she hands over communications and gets her speeds for the conspiracy. I'm sure she's got a lot of communications. When people start A-logging and cow tipping, They love to talk about it. Trust me. People love to talk about that shit. It's ridiculous how much they talk. Sarah Marie for £5 sterling. Although remember, she's in Wales, so it's not the King sterling either. The Welsh, I mean, they anciently harbor their contempt for the king. Their discontent. It says, good evening. Hope you're well. I am doing great. It's been a while. Yes, it has. These client cases have been glorious to watch unfold. Well, this one's only going to get better. It's only going to get better. Thanks for being here, Sarah. Prophet 2 says, I hate Reddit more than Denims, so Denims is based. Well, I guess that's one way to look at it at times. Cool Boy 52 says for $1.99, I'm just a real cool boy. Well, there you go. I'm glad you're here being cool. Seller says if he can't unmask them, I mean, if he can't, then well, Frogums, Denims, and Caseytron are going to get fucked. He'll still kill them. They're still going to get killed. And I'm sure they have access to communications they could use to unmask these people. So it's not over yet. This is a long way from being over. It's a long way from being over. Michael Boyle's been a member for 15 months. Thank you for being here, Michael. Thanks for that support. It says Reddit mods are judgment proof, asset free. Yes. If you guys haven't seen, you can Google. There are pictures of Reddit mods meeting up together, and it's about what you'd expect. Walter Malone for $5 says, the commie capo sold out the comrades. Yes. Shocked Pikachu face. Who could have foreseen this? Really anybody. Sarah Marie says the Snark mods appear to be between the ages of 35 and 50 years of age, unemployed, on disability, and are exactly what you'd imagine a Reddit monitor will look like. So I have heard. Yeah, that's kind of par for the course for all the Reddit mods. Are there any updates on Frogan getting served? I heard she was dodging service. I think she's been served now, but eventually, if you keep dodging service, you can't just, that's not the automatic win, because eventually you could serve by other means. Especially if it proves she's dodging. Cyanide Cologne says Bolshevik just because he's Jewish, Sean. Really? Debbie O for $10. Thank you, Debbie. Says while he's gone, and this is when I was gone earlier, I guess. I will tell you we were semi-thwarted on the cheese order. There's no cheese for PO boxes till October. We're gonna have to wait. It'll be worth it though. Great cheese. Apparently, guys, and we learned this last night. The Washington State University, they sell cans of cheese, like big 2.5-pound cans of cheese. So apparently, I'm getting one. Not till October though. That'll be great. Have some grilled cheese sandwiches with it. Looking forward to it, Debbie. Thank you so much. Sarah Marie for another £5 sterling. Maybe not the King sterling, though. It says, they fucked around and found out, and they deserve every bit of wrath Ethan rains down upon them. Yes. Yes, they do. I agree. Thank you for super chat. Soul in the Leak is saying, Denims was so smug about Ethan not suing her, then Lex Luthor unleashed the kryptonite of women. Personal responsibility. Yes. Yes. Katie says, oh shit, our Discord can get pulled. We're fucked. Never write anything down electronically that you would never want to be seen in a courtroom. Everything is discoverable, chat. Everything is discoverable. You should presume nothing is protected. You should presume nothing is not compromised or being surveilled at any point in time. It's an easy way to govern yourself. Says Sarah Marie, member for 17 months. Thank you, Sarah, for that support. I appreciate it. Says, oh no, the consequences of my stupid actions. Help me. Help. 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 Amateur Iconoclast has been here for 19 months. Thank you for that support. Says Denims, the embodiment of soul's warning. Yes. Be wary of those socialist titties, chat. Be aware. Campsite Z says, do you know of any forensic account audits, LMFAO, they can parse and analyze the simulators and word usage of all those accounts? No, but that's actually, I mean, it's easy to find software that can do that, where they can determine who's who and what's what, and, you know, your mannerisms and how you type, because that's really hard to have 9 distinct, even though it's typing, chat, you're typing is a speech pattern. It may not seem distinguishable to you, but to the trained eye, you can distinguish who's who, how they use grammar, how they type words and misspell words, how they phrase things. There's a lot of ways you can determine who's who if you have the money for it. And Ethan Klein does. Ethan Klein has that kind of money. He 100% has that. So that is a true thing. That is a true thing. So Delray Smith says it is Ohio's birthday. It's actually not. Ohio's birthday is March. It's like March 1st is his actual birthday. Adam A says, what the fuck? I love the court system now. Yes, Sarah Marie. Yes, Ethan has told him not to delete anything because it's going to be necessary for the case. And he would get a hold of it through discovery anyway. But it's a worse look for them if they delete it. Yeah. Yep. Although Ethan talking about it isn't necessarily going to be binding. But yes, they have been given some level of notice. David Davis, who's been a member for 10 months, says, Suffolk commies. The cope is strong. Yes, it is. Sarah Marie for another £5 sterling. The King Sterling says, Ethan Klein Industrial Complex is quite fascinating. Yes, it is. Tim Poole, the Beanie Civil Warlord, says Denims is an OnlyFans orbiter of Hassan Piker. Yes. Fair Frozen 55 says, you are right. As they get more desperate, it'll get better for us to watch. Oh, 100%. 100%. Another says, how does it feel to be the darling lawyer of Kiwi Farm, Sean? I don't know. I don't go on the internet looking for friends like that. You know, as easy as it was given to me, I can easily lose it. So does that mean it's really worth much at the end of the day? That's really what a true person would honestly look at it. Del Rey says it's Cleveland's birthday. Is it Cleveland's founding date? Yes, July 22nd, 1796, by General Moses Cleveland of the Connecticut. Well, I do know that of the Connecticut Land Company. But yes, thank you, Del Rey. Yes. The deletion is basically admitting guilt. Yes. Yes. Sad Clown says, your love is worthless. Well, no, but I'm just saying in general, it's like, is it really admiration? It's just, no, I'm willing to talk and say things. And yes, unlike, some people, I actually have beliefs and opinions, but as somebody tried to warn me, they'll turn on you. If I do all the shit he's done, I hope they turn on me. If they don't, they're even worse. They're worse. So, so there we go. And by the way, chat, because it's my birthday's coming up, 2.0 got me another thing to open. So I thought we'd just go through that real quick. Because, guys, my birthday's August 10th. So let's see here. Yeah. Disloyal internet friends. Well, remember what Jim Mediker's right. You can have like colleagues and acquaintances, but like friends, like people I can call up who'll show up to my house with guns for me, like armed. Like those are friends. That's a friend. It's a bomb. I hope so. My existence is pain. So we're not doing a 40-hour birthday stream. Nick is crazy for $20. Says, happy birthday, Sean. Okay, if you're new, chat, it is not my birthday tonight. It's not my birthday tonight. My birthday's August 10th. But thank you, Nick, for the $20. I were pretty close to that Jersey Mike's review. Yeah, well. Medicare says, don't have internet friends. Also, Medicare marries internet friend. Yes, well. Tom was my MySpace friend, yeah. Please don't open up pipe bombs. Well, that's no fun if you don't play with explosive devices. What fun is there if you're not playing with bombs? Brad says commies will show up at your house with guns, but to take your stuff. Well, then we'll fucking play. We'll find out how many of them it takes. EDW Raptor says, chat every stream is Sean's birthday. Don't let him lie. Yes, I'm timeless. Focus on the present. What is it? Yes. Well. Oh my gosh. So, all right. Oh, okay. Honey, you're not helping things when you do this. You know, chat. I frequently refer to this thing here. It's kind of like the young Pope. It's, there's a hell and I've built it. This is my own personal hell and I've built it for myself. Very much. I've built my own hell. Oh, shouldn't we all be so lucky? Shouldn't we all be so lucky? Is it spiders? No. No, it's not spiders. I better put it together first. And if you guys are new and you don't know what a foamer is a train autist. So an autistic person who's really into trains, and they all believe I'm some sort of train aficionado. Merely because I explained to them what a foamer was, because I know what they are, I must be one. That ain't right. You're right. It's not. It's not. Is that like a fleshlight? No, it's a cup. It's a drinking cup. A train autist, does such a thing really exist? Oh my God. Yes, they do. They do. So. Sad Clown says Ordnance Lab is a company. The channel's closing down, though. They're closing up shop, I think, from what I understand. But yes, Ordnance Lab is a great YouTube channel where if you want to learn about bomb making and the use of employment methods of different explosive devices, you can learn a lot from them. Like you can launch Molotov cocktails with a cannon, and they can make they show you use like tiki torches to make good Molotovs. So, oh God, yes. Edie Raptor says, happy birthday. Thank you. Yes, every stream chat is my birthday. Don't let them lie. Well, don't. Speaking of orbiters, Amateur Iconiclist says, how do you explain your lack of orbiters with all that gravitational pull? Because I'm cringe and gay. Because I'm cringe and fat. I'm glad I don't have orbiters. Chugi Show for $4.99 says, Sean, stop trying to court their farms with your legal analysis. I know. Merely giving my opinion, which is a correct opinion, is apparently not allowed. Not allowed, I guess. I don't know. JC for $10. Thank you. It says, my birthday is also in August. It's August 2nd. Well, happy birthday coming up, man. Let's celebrate our birthdays together this year by going down to Stoney's Bar and Grill in Rockville, Minnesota. That's right, chat. Stoney's Bar and Grill at 158 East Broadway Street in Rockville, Minnesota. And if you guys are new, you're like, wait, why is Sean knowing the address and chilling for a bar in rural central Minnesota? You're going to have to catch up on the lore, but it's a funny story, chat, at least from our side. It's funny and weird. Where you can get $2.50 cans on Thirsty Thursdays. That's right, chat. At Stoney's, $2.50 cans on Thursday from 4 to 8 at happy hour. They've got food trucks there every Thursday night. It's also bike night. Bring your bike down and crank your hog in front of the whole town at Stoney's. My love of trains has nothing to do with it. Yes, well. Yes, chat, this weekend they will be hosting the Steel Toe Anniversary Show at Stoney's. I think it's Saturday they're hosting it. No pedos, but gay twisters are out. Yes. Well, yes, Naked and Gay Twister, Aaron has announced for the anniversary show of the Steel Toe Morning Show. He is coming out of retirement. It's going to be a one-night special event. It's kind of like Social Distortion every once in a while. One night only, they come back out and play every once in a while. I think they went back on tour. We're touring for a bit or doing shows, but like every once, it's like the Beatles coming back out, chat. One night only, they showed up on the rooftop. Aaron's going to pull up, whip out the mat, and it's going to be first come, first serve. Literally first come. And you're going to be able to have Naked Twister with Aaron M. Holt. He is going to play. So, yes. Did they increase the price on cans? Yes, because of inflation. Thanks, Biden. And you know who can't restream the Steel Toe Anniversary Show? I know. No Mayo's been a member for 6 months. Says, don't forget to tell Cheeto, the owner of the bar, Cheeto's bets, to be correct. Tell Cheeto you're friends with Patrick Melton. Yes, he will give you a discount. Yes, another says, it was Strip Twister, not Naked Twister. Sarah Brown says, my hubby is a foamer by Sean's definition of the word. But he's too much of a foamer to know it, I guess. Well, a foamer is also somebody who's probably autistic as well, unless your Sarah's going to be like, well, yeah, my husband's a big retard. But yes, people who love going to see trains and listen to the radios for trains. Yes. Yes. So. How would Strip Twister even work? I don't know. That's why you don't believe it. You can't believe the story. Sarah says, yup, that fits. He's a big old tard. Robin Hood says, I am with autism. Well, aren't we all? Aren't we all at some point, really? Sean should listen to War Pigs from Paris 1970 tonight. I'll have to listen to that. That sounds good. I'll listen to that in honor of Ozzy. Remember, guys, rest in peace, Ozzy Osbourne, the Prince of Darkness. Hopefully you made it to heaven, because I really don't want you to go to hell. Don't want anybody to go to hell. Whatever happened to the train derailers? I don't know, but that's a good question. I need to catch up on that. Hold on here. So you're talking about the kid who caused the train derailment. I don't know. We're gonna have to look on that. As of January, he was gonna be tried as an adult. So that is not that's the update we know as of January. So Meme Copium says a foamer is probably no. Wait. No, it can't be. Oh, there we go. Lawful Lucas says 07, yes, to Ozzy. Mm-hmm. Ruberry says, have we had a Clyde sighting yet? We had him at the beginning. Also need to get scans tomorrow for concerns of pancreatic cancer. Fun. Holy shit. I truly hope you're going to be okay. I hope it's just nothing. Hope it's some wicked lipoma or cyst they get to cut out of you. I really hope that's not going to be there. Let's say a prayer for you. That's cancer sucks, regardless of who it is. Hope it's nothing. Hope it's nothing. I hope somebody was reading your screen and apparently like they were eating food and a fleck of food went on there, or they smeared it and they're like, oh, that's not actually a dot. That was like, salad dressing. So real quick though, hey Clyde. Come here, Bubba. We got Brewberries wants to see you. Come here, buddy. Come on, Clyde. Clyde, come on. He's not coming. Clyde. Clyde. Come here, buddy. Come here, Clyde. I hear the click clacks. Come here, buddy. Come on. Come on. Hey. Hey. Come here. Hey. Clyde. Come here, buddy. Come on. Come on. He just looks over his shoulder at me. He's like, fuck you. I've already been here once. 2.0 has treats. So. Is Clyde a foamer? A little bit. Sure. Asmon's Gold Dad also has cancer. That sucks. Sucks to hear. Their plans got derailed. You can't spell chlamydia without Clyde, yeah. But anyways, Brewberries, I really hope you feel better. Yeah, prayers to you and fuck cancer and the horse it rode in on. Another says, can dogs be autistic? Why can't they be? I mean, it can easily be. They can be autistic. I've seen some. Clyde does some autistic stuff. Now, am I wearing an Under Armour shirt? No, this is just I don't know. 2.0 bought this from the Fat Guy store. I don't know which one ever it is on the internet, but yeah, one of the Fat Guy catalogs. So, yeah. So, English setters can be autistic. Orange cats are autistic. Yes. Chocolate labs are autistic. Discuss the delayed TRO. For which case, David? I don't know which delayed TRO we're talking about. So from Omar the tent maker. No, Omar the sail maker. Tents. They don't make tents big enough. Did you start reading the book? Not yet. That is coming up here. I hope to have some time coming up. Hopefully this weekend I want to start reading it. Because yes, as Joe says in the book that he got me, as we saw, there was a guy named Dick Holden, which is hilarious. David saying Aaron and Nick. I mean, it makes sense. Aaron had an attorney. The attorney had to back out, and he got a continuance. I mean, yeah, the interest of justice. I'm sure Nick went and sat in his office and sat in his little studio and is screaming and yelling at everybody, and his nose is beet red, but it's totally like, yeah. Once again, Nick and his attorney look like fucking assholes again. So not much to it. Yeah. So Nick's seething. I know he is, but it's like, there's nothing to seethe about. He's probably still going to win. Like, then that makes the win even that much more succulent and juicy. So. Pro say Aaron got a W against Nick's attorney. Well, remember, Nick Recade's attorney, Frank White, fucking sucks. Remember, he's the guy who argued the Frank's motion and the watermark bullshit. Nick's attorney is fucking garbage. No, I do not have a Duluth trading company polo. When I was skinny, or I've worn their stuff before. Their underwear is like the cooling underwear is very nice. No one could hit Nick's prostate like Aaron. I think that's the ultimate issue here. It's just scorned lovers. Like I said, it's two gay men in Minnesota. They just can't leave each other alone. Yes, Aaron does step on rakes and he hits other people at the same time. It's very weird. So Nick said he's too busy to complete his community service. Well, I still don't think, based on the way his sentencing was done, that it has to be done by August. I think he has time, and I would argue it's ambiguous. So, and if there's ambiguity, that's in Nick's favor. Because I don't think it was clear from the order how the judge meant that. Another for $5 says, Nick put all of his good attorney points into Randazza. Yeah. Yes. Popcorn Polly says, Nick's still alive? Yes, he is. He is alive. So, and he did a show last night without talking about me or Kurt, which was really impressive. Aaron plays a friendly fire turned on. Yes, he does. Yes, he does. Yes, he does. He don't care. He'll wipe everybody out to get the dub. And the problem is not he's trying. He's just like kind of like when he's like Pauly Shore when he's like in the army now. He's just like he's just like shooting around randomly and like hitting everything. Nick was treating the possibility of cleaning park restrooms being akin to Auschwitz sentencing. I mean, fuck, dude. It's like, I don't know. Has he ever picked up anything heavier than a fucking pencil in his life? I mean, yeah, you could, big fat sack of shit now, but like, I poured concrete. I've done a lot of bullshit work. I've been paid to use a shovel before. Like, listening to Nick talk about it, you'd think he was on the fucking Baton Death March. Oh, he talked about Kurt last night? Oh, he couldn't quit. Oh, he called me a shit lawyer. I mean, I guess, when you want a legal opinion, it's from the guy who tried to argue him a watermark and tried to argue COG was the secret to winning his case. So that's who you really need to listen to. Aaron's the guy that cut around during the training exercise in Super Troopers. Yeah. Well, yeah, Nick's going to be like, I already know these restrooms at the state park. That's where me and Aaron would go. Oh. Yes, I am a sandwich lawyer. Yes. Oi, Clog! What's all this then? Can't do my accent there, so. Which safe, Sean? How do you know that safe was there? Oh. Let's see here, yeah. He should be strong enough to dig holes. Well, look at him. Look at him. He's going to say, Sean can't do a push-up. It's like, can you? How many can you do? Like, that's the thing. I know I can't do them. Can you? We're at opposite ends of the spectrum. I'm really fucking fat, and he's, like, anorexically skinny. So Aaron has a P320, and everyone's catching straights. Ooh, I got that. Also, hold on 1 second, chat. Everybody's catching strays. By the way, chat, if you weren't aware, the Air Force is apparently pulling all the Sig Sauer M18s, M17s / Sig P320s out there. Apparently, one was used within the past day or two, and there was a fatality suffered as a result of it being used. Not like the intention, like somebody got shot with it. It sounds like either the gun went off or it blew up or something. And yeah, Sig is going to have a bad day. This might be the beginning of the end for Sig Sauer. Some guy shot himself in the chest. Ooh, yeah. Some guy in the Air Force. Basically, the Air Force is deadlined all of them for now. So, let's see. Is a hair trigger? No, it's just garbage. It sounds like it went off during like their briefing to get ready to go. Hopefully that means the MCX7 or whatever becomes reasonably priced. Well, no, they're gonna have to cover their losses. So everything else Sig has is gonna be expensive. Oh, he set it down on the desk in the holster and it went off. Ooh, God, that's so scary. That gun is so dangerous. That gun is so dangerous. It's so dangerous. That's so wrong. That's sad. P-Dub says, issue the clapped out M4s. I mean, well, they're in the Air Forces. It's Air Force M4s. It's not like those got shot a lot. They probably just had no finish on them. So, yeah, but that's so sad. A guy's just minding his own business. He died in a meeting. That's what a briefing is, chat, in the military. He sat there at like a meeting getting ready to go do his job, and he died in the meeting. And not like he died doing his job. He died in a meeting. That's got to be a horrible way to go, on top of just dying. So, Who's giving the Air Force guns? Security units have firearms all the time. Their security forces, their military police units, they have firearms all the time. Nero says, why are their P320 still out there? Because SIG doesn't want to admit they're bad. And because people still want them because they think they're good. If you guys want to see something funny, go look at Glock's statement today on their Twitter. It's brutal. I remember when people said it was an anti-SIG myth. Yes. Gary says, buy 1911s. You won't have these issues. Like, okay, yes. We're not buying 1911s, though. Fair Frozen 55 says, Sean, stop bullying P320 Chan. She has a mind of her own, demanded the blood of the infantry. And he says, I'm scared of my unloaded P320 sitting in the safe. I understand, and I feel bad for people who have SIG pistols because SIG's gonna have to like buy these back at some point. Yes, imagine dying in a work meeting. Yeah. Reno Mays assured me the 320 safe because California's a bandit yet. Yeah. Another says they have special forces. Well, they do. Air Force has special operations units, but I said security forces. Security forces are not like special operations command, but like they have combat controllers, they have PJs, a pararescue men. You know, they have a special warfare like group. But that's not when I say security forces. That's not what I'm talking about. The SIG Redditors are still defending it. Well, of course they are. To be fair, when I was in the Air Force, there were plenty of meetings I wouldn't have rather reminded to have died than attend. Well, I've heard that too. Karam says, check your DMs. Which DMs? On Twitter, I guess. I assume you're saying. Check my DM. I hope you didn't send me your penis. I don't really want that. Yes. Oh, shit. Okay. Yeah. So, okay. Yeah. So here we go. So this is on Twitter. They're saying the desk sergeant placed his holstered pistol on a table where it discharged and struck him in the chest. Oh, God. So he put his gun on the table and he was probably sitting there like working on something. And he sat down and it went off on him. Strike him in the chest. Oh, good Lord. That's awful. That's awful. Oh, that's fucking horrible. Yeah. You should subtitle tomorrow's stream Sounding Foam. No, thank you, Yorick. No. Oh. Sig went to the Steve Jobs stool customer service. You're holding it wrong. Yeah, there are multiple videos of SIG P320s going off in holsters. It's not an uncommon thing. There's tons of documented cases. Mineral Enhance is it true you shared underage Fuda with Mr. Moon? I heard it from a very reputable source that definitely wasn't projecting. I mean, if you can't believe the town drunk, who can you believe? That's all I can say. Robin Hood says, discharge on my test, Daddy. No, not like that. Oh. My reaction should have been, whoa, buddy, look at the veins on that thing. Yes. Yes, Darcy, yes, Gavin Newsom was given a gun by Sean Ryan on the Sean Ryan podcast, which that was a fucking pathetic thing. Sean Ryan's a fucking sellout. He let Gavin Newsom bullshit his way through it. Sean Ryan fucking sold it. Then again, though, he's a fucking glowy. Sean Ryan worked for the CIA as a contractor for many, many years. He gave Newsom a gun, and Newsom had to give it back because of California. It's also because it's a gift, so it wouldn't be his anyway. But yeah, he gave him a SIG P365. So, yes, imagine getting shot at shift change. Did you ever cover the Yotsin Mosquera murders in the UK? It's wild. I have no idea what you're talking about. So, no. Yeah, STS 24. Well, the 24 special squad. Yeah, but that's like the helicopter unit itself. I thought the special tactics squadron is their tier 1 equivalent. Yeah, but yeah. Um, let's not get the let's. I do not get the love ever again. Want to give Sean Ryan? Yeah, that's correct. Sean Ryan, yes. Sean Ryan is a FUD. No, he's a Fed. Sean Ryan worked for GRS, Global Resource Staff. If you guys have ever watched 13 Days, that's the same company. They, for a long time, they've used Force Recon and SEAL dudes running that. So they've been really dipping into that and pulling out SEALs to work for them. That's who those guys were. They're contractors who basically operate as, hired gunmen for CIA ops and organizations when they're doing stuff around. So, like, they would do that stuff in 13 hours, buying up weapons and going out and escorting around assets, and then eventually having to, do stuff. Yeah, it's a CIA cutout. Yep. Let's see here. Yes, Sean Ryan sold cocaine for the CIA. It wouldn't surprise me. Wouldn't surprise me if he was involved in all that shit. He's talked about doing all kinds of fucked up shit for fucking the cartels too when he was talking to Megyn Kelly. So who knows? Who knows? Oh, so all right, Torgo. I'll take a look at this later. That double murder. That sounds interesting. Sounds like that's interesting. So. Whiskey Sour says, "Why do we hate Sean Ryan? Because he basically sat there and licked Gavin Newsom's ball sack in an interview." John McPhee is a badass. He necessarily doesn't have the best reputation in Delta Force. He might be a badass, but you got it's kind of like him and Dale Comstock. Those guys aren't in Delta Force, and they're the special force community. A lot of people who are like the more prominent ones aren't necessarily the most well loved. Like Tim Kennedy, for example, nobody fucking liked him, and Tim Kennedy finally got his comeuppance. But be careful about Shrek. Yeah, that's all. There's entire message boards you can go read stuff about him on. Cyanide Cologne says, "I have a bad joke for you. Why do ATF agents shoot modified isosceles? They already shot all the Weavers." Oh, God, that's a good one. That's a good one. And guys, if you don't understand, modified isosceles is a shooting position, a platform, like when you're shooting, that your arms are out and you're in a modified isosceles triangle. There's also the Weaver stance. That's a different shooting position. Oh, God damn, that is a Randy Weaver joke. Although to be fair, the FBI shot Vicky Weaver and murdered her. So, burn in hell, Lon Horiuchi. Repent for what you've done, if you ever have the honesty to do so. So let me see. Yeah, the CIA still has a special activities division, but it's easier to use a mercenary company because then if they die, oh well. Yes, yeah, he ran around not knowing, Farsi or Pashtun, and somehow didn't get killed. But yes, Valor stealing Tim. Yes. Well, if you really want a good thread, the Farms has a very good SOCOM and SOCOM thread of like all the fucking crazy shit in there. But also, if you just listen to like these guys who go on Sean Ryan, like it seems like half the dudes in Delta Force are fucking drug addicts. And they're all using steroids or they have like fucking drug problems and like severe mental health problems. Like it's a very like if you listen to all these things intently, like a lot of these guys have fucking issues. Not all of them, but a lot of them. Let's see here. Have you ever seen the Weaver daughter who survived? Okay, funny. What do you think the chances Obama will get arrested? the same odds that there's going to be Chinese paratroopers landing in my front yard right now. Meaning none. It's not happening. Ain't happening. Ain't happening, chat. Ain't happening. So. Don Shipley rules. Yeah, well, Don Shipley's good. I love watching his videos. No, Mayo says the Troon one, Kristen Beck or whatever his name is, was scary. I mean, not really. Like, he talked about doing all this kinds of shit. It's like most dudes have sat around thought, can you do that? And like, just never had the access to tools and equipment. So, Fair Frozen 55 says, I guess it's a good time to get into M9s, back to the 90s and the Wonder 9 boys. Yes. Hey, you know what? There's nothing wrong with a Beretta M9 or a Glock 19, Glock 17. They are your friends. They are reliable. Team House is a good guest. Yeah, but then you learn about what happened with Jack Murphy. Not Cuck Jack Murphy. Jack Murphy, who runs the Team House podcast, what he did to Chuck Ritter, an actual like another SF guy, kind of really diminishes it. That's it though. Dave Park is really fucking based. The other guy who's part of the Team House. Former Ranger who ended up doing a lot of military contracting early in Afghanistan. That guy's cool. To be clear, I don't know why my feed is getting obsessed with Obama getting arrested. Oh, you're base shaman. You don't know why. Oh, the Chinese paratroopers are just biding their time to get the drop on me. Yeah. What are they like? They're gonna attack me with spears like cavemen. Sarah Marie says you got to be fucked in the head to operate at higher levels. That's not true, actually. You don't have to be mentally unstable. Like, they want people who are mentally stable, who are not dependent on drugs and alcohol. That's actually the opposite of what they want people who are legit. And the problem is doing it, they end up with tons of people who end up with all kinds of drug and alcohol problems. So you don't have to be fucked in the head. It's just they weren't properly dealing with their issues for the longest time, and that's just an issue. That's kind of a military is not the biggest place for mental health issues. Taking care of them. Karam says a SIG 226. Yes, SIG 226, 229 are very good pistols. I don't know right now about SIG's QC, but if you get a Legacy 226 or a 229, you're never going to go wrong. If you're broke as fuck by a Beretta APX, you're broke as fuck by a PSA dagger. You could do it for $200. Let's see here. I don't know about Jack, but Dave is cool. Yeah. Aaron winning versus the Obama getting arrested chances. Aaron, okay. Aaron's got like I don't think he's going to win, but like he still has like a couple percentage points of possibility because it's possible. Obama's not getting arrested. So, yes, they want people who are stable. Yes, and then they end up turning them into problems. Tim Pools, it makes sense that the soft Delta dudes are pretty wild. Well, the guy, the SOG cast. Okay, SOG is different. The dudes doing Mac v SOG in Vietnam, those guys were different. Those guys were built different. Old time special forces guys were different. Old time special forces were for people, they were sent there because they didn't fit in anywhere, and they were misfits and whatever. And like those guys running around the woods in Vietnam were completely different. So, yeah, Dave Park is it's Dave Park is great Twitter to follow. Is it confirmed that Amaranth now is upgraded to a Dan Wesson Razorback in 10mm? Why? For another fake robbery? Yes, I still think that robbery was fake. Because like allegedly they arrested people, but we haven't heard anything about like people going to jail or prison or court cases. So yeah. You want to get a West German P226? Dude, that's going to cost you a lot of money. You can get later P226s that aren't bad. So Mac v Saw guys were crazy. Yeah, well. Have you seen some of the World War II guys who were precursors to Saw? Yeah, like you read about like David Sterling and Patty Main, or you read about the guys in the OSS or the Joint Canadian American Special Forces units. You read about the Special Boat Service. Like a lot of these guys were just like straight up cowboys, but it was different back then. Yes, the Sogcast is really good on YouTube. I think it's John Stryker Meyer does them. That guy's cool. And if you read the Sog books, it's cool when you can talk to the guys who did all this stuff. Let's see here. Completely fake. What's fake? Can we do a locals AR build stream? Sure, one night we'll do that. I'll sit there and we'll put together a lower or something. We can do that. Peter Key says LLRPs, the long range reconnaissance patrols. That was a different thing than the SAW guys. But yeah, those guys, there were all kinds of. It was Vietnam. Like there were a lot of reconnaissance units operating. So, am I going to embrace doing? No, I'm not. So. No, we're gonna do it on locals. We're gonna do it on locals. Build a 6.5 Grendel. Why would I build that? Just get a fucking AR-10 or like get an SR-25 pattern in 308. I mean, really, that's. I have a couple of strip lowers ready to go, Stabby. Thank you very much. But no, if I wanted an AR and 6.5 Grendel, like I don't see the point in it. Like I understand it's a caliber and people like it, but you'd buy an SR-25 pattern and just fucking go from there, in my opinion. Your kiddo tried to build an AR tonight. What helped me the first couple times I put an AR together, a lower receiver together, is you take a sheet and put it over your head. So when the springs go flying, they don't go everywhere. Hopefully he got it done. Hopefully it worked. Amaranth's abduction, that wasn't an abduction. That was a fake robbery. So, yeah, the cost of 6.5 ammo is really close to 308. Yeah, well, I mean, there's that too. The SR-25 is significantly heavier than an AR-15. I agree, Nick, but for what I want out of a 6.5 Grendel, what can I do with an AR-15 in 5.56? Like, if I'm hunting with it, why wouldn't I just use something in 308? No, there's nothing wrong with buying a 6.5 Creedmoor or Grendel or 6.8 SPC like rifle, but like putting in an AR-15, I don't understand the point of. But like having a bolt action rifle like a PRS rig, that makes total sense. That makes total sense. Sarah Marie saying apparently someone shot her husband. Oh, something else. Wait, so something new has happened? I thought it was just the robbery. So someone shot her husband. I can't like. Isn't it interesting how this keeps happening to her? Amaranth, let's see what happened. Latest. Oh God, you really got to make sure you click on the latest thing here. People. Amaranth. Okay, so where's this? Yeah, I don't see. Other than her just trying to flash her tits around, like. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's there. So. Delray says, when's the rubber band gun stream? Oh God, we need to work on that too. I mean, there's a bunch of projects we need to finish up. 6.5 is very 2009, yes, too. 6 arc is probably going to take it. Yeah, it might. It might. There's something wrong with buying 6.5 Creedmoor unless you're a woman. I mean, it's a fucking laser beam. I mean, like, it's that or 260, like 6.5 Creedmoor and 260 Remington are both very cool cartridges. 6.5 Creedmoor has a better overall length that accommodates more things, but like, yes, both of those are basically fucking laser guns. So there's nothing wrong with 6.5. 6.5 is a very good caliber. Say, what can't you do, Sean? Penetrate level 4 armor. If I have M855A1, I can. And besides, multiple hits of SS109 will probably defeat a plate. Grendel's significantly more powered. I get that, but you're reducing ammo capacity. And I think if you're really encountering threats that have problems, you can upgrade cartridges. I can start shooting 77 grain Mark 262 at people if you need to. Do a wind chime stream with Matt. Yes, well, we could do that one night on like Locals or Rumble. So, oh, so apparently it happened. I don't know. The thing that happened during the robbery. Oh, that whole thing is bullshit, Sarah. There's no donut confirmed. It's true. Who got arrested? Because has anybody been arrested? Do they have any leads? Has anybody been charged? I think it's bullshit. It smells like bullshit to me. Durna says for deer hunting, if you want a bigger round, yeah, I mean, people have taken deer with 5.56, but I mean, really, 308 will do the same thing. You have a 5.45 by 39 upper. Okay, well now someone's being fancy. So Scamaranth would never lie to you. Yes, that's right. She's a multimillionaire, doesn't have security. Yeah, well, there's that too. When are the Spud gun streams? I don't know. I mean, I'm more worried about getting the 40mm launcher built. And it turns out I may have lost some parts. I'm going to have to reprint shit here coming up. But we might hopefully do the 40mm stuff here soon because I got to do the stamp on that still. Keep forgetting about that. Brewberry says, I'm too Australian for this. Well, sorry. 264 Win Mag. Okay, now you're just being a fucking boomer at this point. Have I ever been to Thunder Valley? No, that is south of Cleveland, down in the holler. They have a mile range down there. But I've heard about it. I've heard it's pretty cool to go watch. Yes, Chad, people shoot mile-long matches. They shoot mile matches with like 50 cals and 338 Lapua Magnums and 338 Win Mags. So 25 300 Weatherby's in the chat. Oh, fuck. Well, you know, like, what? Oh, fuck, what do they call the one cartridge? Yeah, 500 Linnebaugh is in the chat now, too. If we're going to just be ridiculous about stuff. Do you have a Maxim 9 I can purchase? No. Yeah, 375 Shaytac. Well, God, that's actually cool. You could do stuff with that. So, all right, guys. Well, that's enough for that. That's enough for that. 264 Lin Mag was laser beam. Yeah, but what are you going to be able to chamber that in? So, even when I was a kid, I wanted a Lapua. Well, anybody who played Counter-Strike wants a Lapua. Everybody wants an Accuracy International. So far, my handgun of the years of Kimber 2K11, solid and surprising. Yeah. Well, yes, you're going to get it in a pre-64 Model 70. Yes, you have to get pre-1964 Model 70s because quality control nosedived after 1964 for Winchester. So nobody's dropping Nitro Express. I know, but I'm also surprised you guys haven't talked about Ackley Improved. Bunch of freaking casuals. You don't even talk about Ackley Improved anything. Pathetic. Pathetic. I'm just passing on what Donut said. Initially, he didn't believe it either, but he verified the story in it. I guess, but what did he verify? Because we don't know anything. So, but yeah, I understand, Sarah. I'm not yelling at you. I'm just saying I don't believe any of it. So, the pre-64 Model 70 and 225 Winchester, yeah. So the real hero is yes, Dugan Ashley and his Energetic America series. Yes. Chad, if you want to learn how to distill and create explosives, there's a YouTube channel called Energetic America. Yes, this series. What's the difference between 223 Wild and 223 Ackley Improved? Well, there's a Ackley Improved is, oh geez. 223 Ackley Improved is significantly different. It's not significantly different, but actually here's a good picture of it. I think I could show this without YouTube shitting its pants, but we'll show it real quick. There's a difference though, and you'll have a bad day if you try to do it. This is Ackley Improved on top, and then 223 Remington below it. Ackley Improved is very steep shouldered. Everything Ackley Improved is very, very steep shouldered. So it's a very big difference in that. So this is more of a wild horse audience instead of wildcatting. Yeah. The shoulder angle is different. It's very steep. Basically, it's like, it's not 90 degrees, but it's very close. Ackley Improved stuff is insane what they made. Should you get a tactical lever gun or keep it classic? I don't know. I mean, I think the it gives up extraction. Yes, it does. Yes, big no-no to chamber and normal chambers. I agree. Well, if you can even chamber it. I don't know. I mean, like, I just don't see the point of, like, if you get a lever or gun, put like a rail on it so you could put a sight on it. But other than that, I don't know. So anyways, with that said though, guys, we're gonna wrap this up here. It's 2 hours. We gotta land the plane, chat. We gotta land the plane. I'm sorry. We gotta land the plane, guys. Tomorrow night, we've got some stuff planned. It should be a fun show for everybody. Let me see. What is our schedule looking like? Tomorrow night, we're going to be going over Brian Koberger's plea, and we'll do some members only. If Brian Koberger takes too long, we won't. Tomorrow morning at 11 a.m., though, chat, I am going to be on with Kirsha. That's right, the Foxu. We are going to watch Brian Koberger's sentencing live. She wanted to cover Brian Koberger, but she never got the chance. So this is the next best thing. So we're going to do that. Starting at 11 a.m. Eastern, Brian Koberger's sentencing starts. It'll probably go all day. Am I going to cover Vishojo? That's more mindset territory than anything. I don't know anything about that. Robin Hood says, are you doing anything after this? I'm probably going to go to bed. I'm a little tired. I probably have a 2.0, though. Is this like an indirect kiss with Mr. Medicare? I mean, kind of. Kind of. I mean, Mr. Jim Medicare knows who I am. I'm the fat guy Nick Ricada yelled at. So, and then guys, if you are new, Thursday night, we have the Thursday night show. There's a lot we're going to be talking about. We're going to talk about what happened to Sig Sauer, the Breonna Taylor botched police raid. There has been another person who has been convicted of something concerning it. There's an update on the HROs between the two gay guys in Minnesota. Trump is trying to sue the Wall Street Journal, and it's going to fail for pretty basic reasons. There's some other stuff we'll get into, like a guy who made 150 pipe bombs got caught and got in trouble for that. There's a guy who also got arrested for threatening to kill everybody on the Epstein list, but I'm like, I thought there wasn't a list. How can I get in trouble for threatening people that don't exist? The feds kind of tipped that off there. But the Epstein threat guy is there. We're gonna cover a couple different other things. It's a lot of fun, guys. See you guys Thursday nights at 9:30 Eastern. I hope to see you there if you aren't new. Is it based? I think so. It's very based. Mixed in with some possible investment doxing of VTubers on the Japan side. Oh yeah, there's all kinds of stuff there. Yeah, that's not a problem. Please remind us in the Bird app. I will do that. I'll post it up there for you. Little Jen. I'll post my schedule. So but with that said, chat, we are all done for tonight. Thank you guys all for being here. And yeah, not looking good for the the snarkers or the bread tubers. So, and remember, as always, chat, just because you did it does not mean you're guilty. Did the wrong finger for a second. Not mean you're guilty. I mean, these guys aren't guilty, but they're sure as shit liable. So, have fun. Have fun out there when Denims cut you loose, chat. Have fun. Suffer. Suffer, Reddit mods. It's what you're meant for, is to suffer. Good night, chat. I'll see you guys later.
Weapons, blacksmithing, and models of planes, esoteric works, and even some trains. Much merriment.
It's going to be on Kirsha's channel. I don't know, because she uses Discord. I don't think I can stream through both. So, I don't know how that's, I don't know if there's a way to fix that. So, otherwise, we'll just be doing it live on Kirsha's channel. And then we'll do a later show later in the evening, like normal. We normally watch stuff later in the day anyway. So, that's all I can say about that. Good night, guys.
And while drinking White Claws, tips on hunting, and even talking the law. Whatever you do, just don't talk to cops. Even when they nab you on illegal stops. Just 'cause you did it doesn't mean you're guilty. But please talk to a local attorney. Was that the fact